Hi reader, welcome back to the channel, Lessons from the Homeroom. We're so glad you've checked back in to grow even more. So, yesterday we've been talking a lot about sequencing and how sequencing means you're putting things in order. We do that in our daily life, but when we do that, when we put a book in order through sequencing, we can create a really great retell, a story mountain. We talk about the beginning, the rising action, the climax, and resolution. So today we're going to go over two things. First, we're going to make sure that we identify that problem correctly. We're going to make sure that we look very carefully about some of the clues that the author and the characters might give us to tell us that the problem is happening. Our next step, as we dive deeper into that, we're then going to say, all right, this is what the character's doing to tell us that's a problem, but then what does the character do in their actions with that problem? It really gives us an insight or a window into a deeper connection to that character. So we're going to continue with the very impatient caterpillar, and we're going to review the story mountain. We're going to review what kind of happened throughout the story, putting it in sequential order. So first we had this little caterpillar. He realizes that he needs to build a chrysalis. He doesn't quite know how, but eventually with a little guidance and a little watching, he does. We realize that he's pretty impatient. He only makes it one day, says he's ready to go, but he's not. So he tries again with a lot of you can, you can't. He eventually turns into a butterfly. He says he's going to be way more patient, and then he's presented with the idea of migration. So now we want to make sure that we're going to be able to identify this caterpillar's big problem. So I'm going to grab our next anchor chart. So while I do that, please make sure you grab that book that you've been enjoying, grab your toolkit with your pencils and supplies that you may need, Post-it notes to help you jot down some ideas, or capture a sequence through a few little pictures as I did yesterday. So grab those things. I'll be back in a flash with a new anchor chart. All right, readers, now that you guys have practiced finding the problem using some of the character reactions in your story, I want you to now think about how your character reacted to the problem. That sort of gives us a little window into your character so we can better understand them. So this is a challenging activity, but as you've now identified the problem, you're ready for this. You're going to take your character's reactions to their problem and make deeper connections to finding character traits or characteristics and think deeper about your character. So I took 4 windows into our character, and I'm going to try to identify some of the character traits of our caterpillar to make me better understand him and to go deeper into the story. So I remember one of the pictures from my mind was the caterpillar saying, right, I knew that. He said that multiple times throughout the story. So when a character does that, that's definitely his reaction to the problem of not knowing how to do a chrysalis, not knowing about migration. So if you have a problem of not knowing something, sometimes you go, oh yeah, I totally knew that. But he didn't. So his reaction to his problem tells us what? Well, it tells us that he's not very confident. We could say that he's pretty worried about not knowing those important things for a butterfly: metamorphosis and migration. So then let's go into our caterpillar reacts to his problem by asking a lot of questions. And finally, the other caterpillars or chrysalises finally say, shh, be quiet. But he asks a ton of questions. So what does that tell you about our caterpillar? What characteristics? Well, we could say he's eager. He wants to solve this problem. He wants to try to figure it out. But he's pretty disruptive. And he's pretty talkative. And we know that because the title of the story is a very impatient caterpillar, but he's also kind of disruptive. He's really talkative, but I think that does tell us that he really is eager. He wants to learn how to solve his problem. jumping into another one. I loved how he kept saying, I can't, I can, I can't, I can. I feel like this reaction to his problem is telling us that he's trying. He's trying to learn his lesson. He's trying to do what he's supposed to. So maybe we could say that he's excited. Okay, it does show that he has a little self-control. He was trying, but man, he gave up once, but he definitely is excited. So he's having a problem that he doesn't know how to manage his impatience while he's in a chrysalis, but this window tells us a little bit more. And in the last part, our caterpillar says, I did it! He turned into a butterfly. So we could definitely say that he became more self-disciplined. So based out of his problem, something great did come out. He did become more self-disciplined. So readers, you have worked so incredibly hard today. We've reviewed the Story Mountain. We have taken that to make sure we can identify our problem correctly by really analyzing characters' reactions, by what they say and what they do. And by what they say and they do, we can dive deeper into understanding our character more by identifying character traits in the ways that they solve their problems. So readers, you still have some more reading to do, but I'm going to leave you at this point to dive deep into your books. Read as long as you want, as long as you need. But this is important work for you to continue to grow and metamorphosize into a beautiful reader. So it's so long for now. We'll check back in on your next lessons from the homeroom.